morning, good afternoon. Oh, some challenges here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. I am Marcus Holmes. There we go. I am Marcus Holmes, HR Passion Guy, and I'm pleased to bring you once more Passion Fridays, where we promise to bring you passionate topics, people at the intersection of their passion, and things that make us passionate as well. I am on the northwest side of Detroit, where the temperature is approaching 70. Someone ordered an Indian summer, and I will take it. Drop in the comments what the temperature is like where you are as you join us, and I hope that you will click share to tag other folks to join us in the discussion. Hopefully interesting discussion today. I think you will enjoy it, as I'm awaiting our guest who is having a few challenges, but hopefully she will join us momentarily. All right. And again, just drop in the comments wherever you are around the world, what the temperature is like where you are. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm live on all of the platforms. I see us. Okay, fantastic. I just wanted to make sure we are set on all of the platforms, and then just drop in the comments. Where are you, and what is the temperature like where you are? Give it a moment to circulate and populate. All right. Let's see, we are live on YouTube events and live on LinkedIn. Thank you for those that are viewing from those platforms. We are also live on Twitch TV and on Facebook on the Marcus R. Holmes page and the Love and Stuff page. Just waiting for it to populate, and we should be soon to go. All right, I see that there are some folks joining us on various platforms, and I appreciate your presence today. All right, just give it a second. All right, I see we are on a couple of platforms, and again, I'm just asking if you will just drop in the comments, where are you? And what is the temperature like where you are? What's the temperature like where you are? I am on the northwest side of Detroit, and it's approaching 70 degrees. And so I'm excited for that. Lester Hugh has joined us. Thank you so much for coming. All right. And so good morning, or morning there, I think. And is it Dana Point, California? Good morning there. And what is the temperature like there? I promise not to be upset. I won't even feel like you're rubbing it in, because I'm sure it's warmer than my approach to 70 here in Metro Detroit, Northwest Detroit. I'm going to make sure I get out and take a bike ride. This is an Indian summer day at its best. And Craig Turner has joined us from Toledo, Ohio. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you all for being here. I hope you will click share and just tag some folks to join us in the conversation. It's 70 in California. Okay, very good. So I feel like I'm having Californian weather, Lester, because it's approaching 70 degrees today. So I got to get out and do that neglected bike ride that I must admit I don't like to do when it's 40s or 50s. But I got to work on getting it fit and getting together. Pam Caldwell has joined us, as well as Eric Powell. Thank you so much. So on Passion Fridays, we're awaiting our guest, Sydney Davis from Tequity Apps. And I wanted to share part of her passion. And just as an introduction to that part of her passion, I will share a part of my passion story. Lester says it's cloudy, the ocean temperature 66. Got it. Thank you. A part of my passionate story, as I look back to just rehearse some of the facts, I saw that it's been about 2 years that I've been on this particular leg of a journey. I have been so blessed and fortunate to receive what I believe are from God, the Creator, these enormous ideas. And one of three of them happened to be an app. So there are 3 apps. So one of the 3 app ideas I thought of as there was a challenge that was issued. How can we have more gratefulness or gratitude? They said more gratitude in the workplace. And I accepted that challenge from IDEO. IDEO is the name of the company and organization with which you may be familiar, and shout out to them. I accepted the challenge to create an app that would help bring more gratitude in the workplace. And so it's been about 2 years that I started this journey of app development. And on that journey, I employ what's considered, moderately considered, a design thinking approach. So in designing the app, I talk to people. I surveyed people and asked them questions about how they would like the app to feel, they would like to see in the app, what does gratitude mean to them, how important is it is it important in the workplace, how would you like to see it manifest, those types of questions I did both in a survey and sent it out to employers, employees, a pretty broad spectrum of both. And then I interviewed employees of an organization to ask and get their feedback on what they would like the app to look like and feel, and what they would like the app to be able to do. Pam says, I'm in Detroit and it's 55 degrees, and Indian summer only comes after 32 or less days. So we aren't quite there, but it is a gorgeous day. Yeah, I just say I'm ordering one. So thank you for the clarity, though. Thank you for that. You're right. And so there were 345 submissions for this challenge, and the prize was to be up to $40,000 to help build the app. And so I entered into this contest, challenge, they call it. And the first round narrowed the 345 apps down to 39. And I made it into the top 39. And I believe in part that I didn't ultimately win because the developers that were pitching their ideas were developers. They knew how to develop their app, all of the back office stuff. And that was something that I could not do. I don't have the bandwidth or skill in that short period of time that we had to do it to be able to then create an app, which I think is very important, especially in the space that I seek to be in. Just checking my connection is telling me the connection is a little low. Okay. Passion of mine, having a healthy Black community return to our neighborhoods across the nation. That's wonderful. Wonderful. We'll have to talk more about that at some point. Ann Lewis has joined us. Corey Reed has joined us. Thank you both for joining. And those of you that are on LinkedIn and YouTube events, if you'll drop in the comments where you are, I would gratefully appreciate it. And so I had a longtime friend ask me, whether or not I would continue down the road of building this app, even if I didn't quite line up all of the resources at any one given time. And so I told her yes. Marlon Wilson Williams, dear longtime friend, said, are you going to do this app no matter what? I said, I'm going to do it no matter what, because I believe that if you want to drive business results, thank you, Lester. I still don't have a developer, and I don't expect for it to be, I don't expect to enter another contest, but thank you for that. I felt very well prepared given, the resources that I have, but I appreciate that. And so I've continued down this path, and it's been 2 years, and I have what's considered a prototype of the app that I am still working on. And Sydney is one of the people who has been along this journey with me. When I first started out, it was with a company that she provides consulting to. Shout out to Stephanie McKyer and her team at Hyperactive LLC, who helped with the initial development of the prototype of the app. And I'm still going down the road because it's an app that requires a lot of functionality, geofencing, and a number of different things. So I'm still on that road received a scholarship membership to GVS Labs, which is a startup organization that's filled with mentors in the app space. And so just making sure that whenever a developer is onboarded, that because it would be a developer for equity, and not every developer wants to do that, but making sure it's a partnership that makes sense for us both. But it's important in the workplace, gratitude is, because it can drive business results. And while I'm sure many organizations will tell you that they want a wonderful and healthy workplace, they understand that at the end of the day, work has to make money. It has to drive business results. And so, as many people are thinking, engagement, people think of it as very qualitative and not as much quantitative. But the engagement that an organization embarks upon as a journey, as an experience for its employees, with its employees, through its employees, drives business results. And so the app Gratitude Stations is still under development, and I'm excited to keep moving forward. Though it's been a while. It's been 2 years. I looked at the date. But what I appreciate about Sydney is that she has been in there for the long haul, providing excellent consultation and pushing back in areas where I was either not comfortable or had some fear around moving forward, or had some concern around sharing some of the functionality of the app and presentation, thinking someone's going to steal the app. I've learned a lot on the journey. And I would say, if you have an idea that you are passionate about, you definitely owe it to yourself to pursue that passion. A little bit about HR Passion LLC. Actually, I'm going to share with you just a little bit of video, and we will be right back.
Hello, I am Taft Cleveland, a healthcare planner at Smith Group. Smith Group is one of the largest architecture and engineering firms in the world. I currently serve on the Corporate Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, known as JEDI. My focus is on recruitment, promotion, and retention. This summer, we all experienced the trauma of watching George Floyd, a black man, killed in police custody. As a result, Floyd's death triggered worldwide protests against police brutality and systemic racism. Many companies began having uncomfortable conversations that led them to add Black Lives Matter, anti-racist language, and JEDI to the websites and company mission statements. As I began researching ways to address systemic racism and diversity, I reached out to Marcus Holmes of HR Passion LLC. He encouraged transparency with our goals and visions to advance racial equity for underrepresented groups, particularly African Americans, and suggested that the leadership must be diversity and inclusion focused. Oftentimes people of color are overlooked for promotions they deserve. They are routinely viewed as being token minorities. But Marcus created a competency checklist that assesses and measures employee performances and holds leadership accountable. This checklist is equitable not only for promoting people of color internally, but also recruiting underrepresented minorities who are seeking employment as well. A project of this magnitude could have easily taken 12 months. However, with the help of Marcus, we were able to recommend changes in 3 months, which saved our company valuable time and resources. In these uncertain times, I highly recommend HR Passion LLC for building strategies and practices that broaden the talents of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color.
And thank you, Taft Cleveland, for that. Part of the work of HR Passion LLC is B2B consultation, but there's B2C consultation as well. And so Taft Cleveland, thank you so much for that testimonial. Appreciate you so much. And thank those of you that have joined us on Passion Fridays. We are awaiting Sydney Davis, who has been part of a partnership in the developing of an app. Well, Crystal Lee, thanks for joining us. I hope that you will connect with Sydney Davis. She actually has she did a webinar last night about a no-code app opportunity to help people to build an app without code. And there is also the opportunity to get in on a subscription service with Tequity apps. And I'll make sure you get that information. I'll drop it in the comments so that you can sign up. Very brilliant young lady, very easy to work with, understood all of the research that I had done. She was able to help synthesize it and really look to help me align it with what I was trying to accomplish, built a prototype. Of course, our next step is the minimally viable product so that we can then start to, well, we're having some discussion whether or not the next step really is proof of concept or if there's some other next step. But she can help you from that ideal start to product launch. And I'm on that journey. I'm very happy that I'm on that journey. There have been some, tough lessons to learn. And I'm glad that I have learned those tough lessons, actually, so that I could get it out, as Crystal was saying, to market. And eventually that's the goal. I think organizations will really benefit from gratitude stations. And I would be more than pleased to talk more with business owners, CEOs, C-suite members, and HR professionals who are interested in an engagement app that really helps to drive business results. Thank you, Crystal Lee. I really appreciate it. And so I know that Sydney was having some challenges. And so as we're waiting her, if you have an app idea like Crystal, be sure to get the information on Tequity, T-Equity apps, where you can build your own app, take that idea and get it out of your head. And this, again, is one of 3 app ideas. At one point, I wanted to tackle all 3 at once, right? I want to get them all out of my head. And I would advise to you to get them out of your head, write them down, sketch them out, but take a design thinking approach to the app, which really says start with the user experience. So what do you hope that your users will experience? Okay. Some people say start with the problem the app is going to solve. And I've heard that from different mentors, but I met one mentor who told me start with how you expect the user to experience your app. If you believe in your app, and let's say you have an app where there are other app ideas similar to yours, okay? There are other app ideas out there. I would say start with the user approach of design thinking. If you've never heard of it and you've done your research, which is something key that you'll have to do, right? You have to do your research to see, does this app idea already exist in some functionality somewhere, right? Is what you're proposing an upgrade to existing functionality? Because you might pitch that to an organization that's existing so that they have it as a bolt-on. You might go into partnership with them instead of just creating your own app. That's one road you might take. But if you find that after your research, no one is doing this, this is a brand new, it's novel, no one is doing it, then you might start building your pitch deck, building your business case on the problem that your app seeks to solve. Now, this is just my opinion, is the disclaimer. Because if someone's already doing the idea, there probably is a good business case for the problem that it solves already. What you want to highlight is the improved or increased user experience and the differentiators between what you are hoping to launch and what already exists. So that's just my thought in my 2-year journey of head knocks and rollovers and learning curve. You could spend a lot of time synthesizing and creating these rich, powerful stories around the problems that you seek to solve. But if it's well documented that it's already a problem and you're going to solve that problem faster, better, improve, increase, differentiate, spend that time on that instead of building your case study and this is the problem I'm going to solve. This is really a problem. If you already know it's a problem and it's been documented by somebody else, leverage that information and build upon it. So I'm talking a little bit more to the latter, where you're entering a market that already exists rather than you being the market creator. And we'll make sure that Sydney is here when we talk about the market creator. But if you are entering an established market, then I say, just me, start with the design thinking approach. What do you hope for your users to experience that's different or better or faster? And so I know that there are engagement apps out there, so it makes good sense to keep an eye on them and see what they're doing. And if your functionality is very different, work to highlight that in your user experience. And as you're talking with groups of users, a focus group, I say get a whole focus group across all of your target market. So if your target market are working people and you think working people are 28 to 55, I'm just making up a number, get the broadest spectrum of those people across gender and ethnicity and talk with them about user experience and talk with them about the apps that they currently use and why they like those apps and what's intuitive and what's not and what are the things that they wish they could change about that app. And see if those things align with what you are trying to do. As you're building your pitch deck, remember to do differentiators, improved, enhanced, increased over what your competitors, because they're your competitors now, and start to think that even though that app is an idea in your mind, it is power in your hands and it is great in the hands of your user. So make sure you think that way, that you are now entering a market and you now have competitors. This idea is now rivaling your competitors and it is power in your hands and its usability, its utilization in the hands of the people that you hope to subscribe or that you hope to sell it to. In my case, again, it's a B2B. HR Passion LLC is a business and it seeks to sell this ad to other businesses, so that other businesses will increase the employee engagement and increase their bottom line. And that's always front of mind to me. There is an investment, but this app has the potential to pay for itself for an employer. And that is an important part of the consideration. After you've done your wealth of research through survey and through focus groups, and there are a number of organizations out there that have IO psychologists who will help you develop your surveys, because you want to make sure that the survey information is good. So reach out to some of them. You can even find some great students who are working on their master's degrees and doctorate degrees to get them involved in developing a robust survey. Then synthesize that information for your pitch deck, because you're going to have to be able to say to organizations or to customers, consumers, that this app is worth purchasing, why, and here's the return on that investment, right? For most consumers, it's going to be giving them access to some information or thing that they want, right? But for a business, it needs to be aligned with driving business goals. And if you can lock into the core values of that company and their core competencies, which should be what drives business goals, you can align the app functionality around those things. Okay. So we're right at 12:24, and my next half hour guest is here. Hopefully Sydney will make it in and we'll double back. But the name of Sydney's company is Tequity Apps, T Equity. I'll make sure I drop the information in the comments. So if you have an app idea, she had a webinar last night and she has more webinars to come about no code apps. So you can build a directory app so people can find different things. Love and Stuff, which is a part of HR Passion LLC, will soon have a directory app around a special challenge that we're going to be doing. And you'll hear more about that here and on the Love and Stuff platform. So as we pivot, I'm just going to go to a small commercial of one of our supporters, and then we'll be right back with Valencia Etner, who's going to tell you about a wonderful virtual event that's happening tomorrow that you will really enjoy. So hang tight for just a second, and we will be right back.
Hey Marcus, there's not enough that I can say to say thank you for the consultation that you're able to provide for me over the last month and a half with regards to this dealing with the furlough, understanding kind of where I need to go and how to maneuver next step career-wise, and you did it without charging me a fee. So I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I don't know where I'd be, and I'm thinking of bigger and better things thanks to you and your consultation. All right, so I appreciate you a lot. You've helped move me past where I thought I could be during this COVID time. So I thank you and I appreciate you so much. If ever you need anything from me, definitely feel free. Reach out, and trust me, I recommend you to any and everybody. You're amazing. Thanks.
And Garrett, thank you. That's just one of the other facets of what HR Passion LLC does. So it's not just business to business, it's business to consumer, it's business to candidates that are in the hiring market. So if you really are ready to make a transition, or you're ready to go out on your own and start your own business, there are some things that you might want to consider about whatever industry that's in. And contact me at HR Passion LLC, fill out the contact form, and we can schedule some one-on-one time. We're also going to be having a behavioral-based interviewing session where you'll get a chance to craft and develop your interview responses based on a system, based on reviewing certain competencies that are pretty much mainstays in job searches. And you'll get a chance to provide those answers live on LinkedIn Live with HR managers and hiring managers who'll give you real-time feedback so that you can start preparing now. If you're looking to pivot from one organization to another, or you're trying to get a promotion within your organization, I invite you to invest in yourself and participate in that online event, and more information will be coming. I am always pleased to have Valencia Etner with me. She is a pastor in the Houston, Texas area, a transplant from Detroit, Michigan. She is a noted thespian, vocalist, writer extraordinaire. And I'm so pleased to have her with me. And she has a great event that's happening tomorrow. So if you want to have some wonderful inspiration for your Saturday, this is what you want to do. I'm so pleased to have her, Valencia Etner. Thank you so much for joining me, Valencia.
Thank you so much. You know, I just keep the Mama V here because I want to know who are part of the other community that this is the same person. So I'm grateful to be here on HR Passion with you, and I'm excited about this part of what you're doing in your life too as well.
Well, thank you so much. And so you've got a virtual event happening tomorrow, November 7th. Tell us a little bit about that virtual event and tell us how this event came to be.
Well, we're in pandemic. And so we typically have, we're a Methodist church, which means we have some particular things we have to do every year financially that goes beyond our tithes and offering and taking care of the church. And I knew we couldn't have anything live. There was no way in pandemic to do, but we still have goals to meet. And so I'm a telethon child from way back. You know, I watched the muscular dystrophy Jerry Lewis telethon since I was a child. And I was thinking, how can I merge that thought process without being overly commercial and still do what the church needed? And so we came up with this virtual concert. Everything in the concert is virtual. So it's not as if we're having this concert and then we're disobeying COVID guidelines by pulling it together. There will be two of us who are hosts, and we will host the virtual concert that is also a live-a-thon. And we call it a live-a-thon instead of a telethon because we'll be live as we ask you to be supportive of what the church is doing. So it's not just music, it's also what the church has been doing in the community, the history of Miles Chapel. And so it's kind of a brainchild, and we're going to see how it comes together. I'm hopeful that people will support, and not only support financially, but to come and to give me feedback how this could be better. Because if it works, it's something that can stay. And so we want to just we're excited about just seeing how it works out. And again, everything is virtual, so no CDC guidelines messed with, any of that. And so it will include our praise team at the church that has been working during pandemic. I wanted to highlight them because they've been doing this during this pandemic time, and I did not want it to be just like, okay, well, it's been great for church, but we want people to see and to hear them. We're not professional, we're church. Okay. And yet they have sung well. They've done well. We also have musicians that are former musicians of the church that are going to share their gift, and our current director of music will share his gift. And then I have a godson that is a supporter of us. He kind of comes in and does all my, all the bells and whistles that we need in worship. And he's an accomplished musician. And so he's going to be kind of our celebrity supporter and I think you'll enjoy his music, and it gives him another platform by which to get his music out there. And so we're just excited. I'm going to sing a couple of things near the end with the praisers, and so some things that are familiar to us, because with being online, you got to be careful that you try to do as much public domain or things that you won't get in trouble with. We're not playing, so we're fine. I think I'm excited about this, and we pray that people will be there. We're going to hear from our children, hear from the oldest person in our church, just to give her some airtime and to say, she's been at the church 80 years, and we just really want to just people to see her, know that Miles Chapel is alive and well, and we need your help. We need your support in this time.
Wonderful. And so I do want to double back, because most people, especially in our LinkedIn community, most people think of the church as just a religion or religious something, but it's really a religious organization. It is a business in some regard. So when you talk about the Methodist Church, I think you're talking about conference claims. That's been my experience.
I certainly am. Thank you, sir.
And so that's an apportionment that's given to every church to support the mother church, right? So it is very much an expectation that you, as a business part of this, handle business. And I wanted to make sure that people in our LinkedIn community understand that a church is also a business that has its obligations, and not just the lights or the musicians or the parsonage or pastor.
Or the pastor.
It has some connections back to the jurisdiction, the mother church, to keep things running. And I wanted them to know as well about your work in the Houston area during the time of the flood devastations.
Yes, that will all be
that church structure in place helps you to be able to be on the forefront and be able to offer those resources to people who in desperate needs during those times. I'm just now having flashbacks thinking of the stories that you recounted for us, how vitally important it is to give support to the church, who is typically the first responders when there's crisis in the community. So I wanted to make sure the LinkedIn community hears that.
Yes.
And it's not just an inspirational opportunity, though I think everybody needs that in their life. We all need some inspiration that helps us to refuel and refocus on our passions. But we also need to know that there's a philanthropic part of this that helps to undergird what's happening in the communities. And before people come to a business and knock on the door and say, I'm hungry, they're probably going to go to the church, or the church is going to them and
Yes.
seeing, okay, what are the
Yes.
needs of our community and how can we meet the needs? So I want businesses to see churches as logical partners in the community, and
Absolutely.
not just for candidates, but to really join together as conscious capitalist organizations to undergird similar missions to create places of wealth and places of stability. So I just wanted to double back to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the things that you said that was real important was that when we send our money back, quote unquote, to the mother church, to the connection, we have 5 schools. We have our foreign mission work in Africa and in Jamaica and in Haiti, where we have member churches, but we are in those communities. And so there's a lot more that goes to this conference thing than just sending it up the ladder and it going to the episcopacy. And a lot of times people hear the negative side, but they don't hear the positives that happen. When we're able to help people in the community, it's because people have been gracious to us. So we partner with people in our community, other churches in our community, to have a greater impact. And so you will also see our outreach. We have a homeless day shelter that we go in and help them with the meals and help them with sharing with those who are homeless, those who are marginalized in our community. We do a great big Thanksgiving dinner that we're not going to be able to do this year, but we're partnering to make sure people have goods and services for this holiday season. But you'll see what we've done there and what we did with the hurricane and all of the things that we try to do, even in pandemic. We've been helping people to get what they needed. And so that's our section where we talk about helping the hurting and helping the homeless and the hurting. And so I think that you will see that unlike what people hear, that church is not just having church. They're not just going and praising God and going back home as if it doesn't matter, as if their communities don't matter. We have a very rich history. The church is almost 117 years old and has been in the Fifth Ward community all of that time. And so we just want to continue to thrive and to continue to meet our obligations to the parent body while we stay in grassroots and make a difference in our community. And so we're just asking you to share with us. There's no ticket price. It's whatever you want to share with us as donation. Nothing is too small, and we know nothing is too large. So we are 501c3. So if you give philanthropically, we can send you back something that you can use as a tax write-off. And so we just want you to know that we'll be there tomorrow night. Again, we are not celebrity, but we are heart. That you will hear music of the heart, and so these are songs of hope and healing, and we pray that it will help some of us to be inspired to keep pushing, to keep on keeping on, and just take a break and see something good, some good some feel good time. Yeah.
Yes. I want you to tell us the names of the folks that are going to be there, and I'll see if I can share the flyer or make sure that I share it probably as the cover for these videos on all of the pages. But we're going to take a quick break, but I want you to share the names of the folks that are going to be there.
Okay.
And then I want to just talk to you for a little bit about, because what you're doing really is what every business has had to do. You're pivoting, right? So I want to talk to you about the pastor pivot a little bit as the leader of your business of evangelism and outreach and preaching the gospel and inspiration. You told us how this idea was birthed, but how is pivoting happening throughout your ministry and maybe throughout your connectional church? We're talking with Valencia Mama V. Edner, who is a staple in our Love and Stuff community, and she is also a pastor in Houston, Texas, and has a wonderful inspirational virtual event that's happening tomorrow. We're going to share a little bit more with her right after this quick break.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. At Powerful Money Tools, we are here to prepare for your future. We want to talk about financial freedom. Financial freedom is budgeting, credit building, and also financial education. So, once again, welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. We can't wait to help you in your financial future.
All right, that was Christina Smith, who's also part of our Love and Stuff community. I wanted to give her a shout out. If you're trying to get your finances together, get your credit together, you want to reach out to Christina Smith. She's on the LinkedIn platform as well as the Love and Stuff platform. Reach out to her and set up your consultation with her today. Thank you, Christina. And we are talking with Pastor Valencia Etner, known to us as Mama V and the Love and Stuff community. And tomorrow she has a great event happening that we do not want you to miss. Tell us who is going to be featured on this event, Mama V. Who's featured?
Well, these are not celebrities, as I said to you. These are not people who would be household names to you. But our current musician, his name is Walter Kemp. He's a part of the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses. And he's in the Houston chapter, but he's from Buffalo, New York, and he started there and has been living in Houston for quite some time now. And he is our current director of music, and he will share a selection. And then there is Melvin Joshua Delaney, who is a former, grew up in Miles Chapel, but is a former musician there who's now living in the Dallas area, but has a song that has been on the airwaves called Hands Up. And he will be there to introduce it, and we will play Hands Up while he is as part of the concert. Then Dr. Jacqueline Chambers, who is a staple to the Houston community as a renowned concert pianist. She is she was a teacher in the Houston Independent School District for several years, but she is a musician, a fabulous classical musician who also plays gospel music. And so she will be playing for us tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. You really don't want to miss her. And then again, we have Reverend Trevor Barnett, who is a son of Miles, who will sing a selection. We just wanted to include our gifted people who were part of the church. He's a pastor in Dallas now. And then Ronnie Coleman. And Merlot, Ronnie Coleman Jr. and Merlot, that is, he is my godson. I've adopted him since we've been here. I've been in Texas, and he is a fabulous jazz musician. And so he will play something instrumental that's jazz, and then play and sing one of his gospel songs that he has written. But you don't want to miss that either. He's amazing. And then our virtual praisers, which are the people who have been holding us down since March. We wanted to celebrate them. There's a couple of those who will be soloists during the concert. And then I will share a few songs with the virtual praisers. And so we'll bring that to you, and we just pray that it will lift up some spirits. All of the songs are about how to keep hope and healing and keep your faith in times like this. And so we're excited about that.
And I'm excited, of course, because what you may not often tout, you are a great singer, and you've been a singer and arranger, composer, thespian. We talked recently about your stint and time in the play Beehive, and how you had a recurring role, kind of doing Aretha Franklin and making that your own role. So of course I got to tout that so that people will know. They would miss a treat if they don't tune in tomorrow for this inspiration. And so as we pivot to talk about the pastor and the pivot, how important do you think inspiration is in this times? You know, I'm biting my nails, trying to hear what the election results are, and everything is so close, and it seems like it could be some years of Hades or some years of happy or somewhere in between. How important in these times is inspiration?
You know, put pastor hat on. Paul writes to be anxious for nothing, but with prayers and supplication and thanksgiving, make your requests known unto God, and then peace will follow. And the truth of the matter is, we are anxious, and we can be given the mandate to not be anxious, but the truth is, we are. And it takes beyond the prayers, beyond the supplications, that thanksgiving is important. So we've got to find that place of gratefulness journey, that place of gratefulness, even in the worst of times, to find that place of gratefulness, even when it's dark, because that gratefulness becomes the light that'll allow you to stay afloat while you continue. And if you believe that word, that the peace of God that passes understanding, like in your mind, you still want to be anxious, but somehow you kind of chill. And that's because there's a peace that is beyond our understanding. And what inspiration does is takes us to that place of peace, where it's for just that few moments. And sometimes that's enough to reset, to restart, to renew, that we are just still. And we can, as the psalmist wrote, we just Selah, just Selah, just give yourself a moment of Selah, so that you can then rejuvenate and refuel, so that you can then continue to do what you must do, even though you're struggling with not wanting to do anything. Sometimes the stress of all of this, the pressure of all of this makes you just want to retreat. But, make that retreat small, get you some inspiration, regroup, refuel, retool, and then go back out and do what it is that you must do.
Yeah. And it's so natural, as you all can see, this inspiration and words of encouragement. Of course, Pastor Valencia, Mama V, has V Encouragements, Thriving Tuesdays. If you want to tune in to that on Facebook, you can go to her page there and follow her there. That comes across so natural. How difficult has it been for you to pivot? Because I'm sure as a pastor, you're used to touching people and holding babies, or maybe blessing babies, or holding a hand of someone who's saying goodbye to a loved one. So how have you had to pivot and still be able to be impactful and powerful, though in this moment your inspiration is powerful? But I'm wondering, how have you had to pivot without being able to touch the people normally that you might otherwise engage with?
I've learned that touch is relative. What I mean by that is that the touch of a voice in the right tone can be as comforting as a hand, as a hug. To sit and listen, to let people vent, to know that they can come and literally fall apart and there's no judgment. This has been a time where pastoral care has had to change. It's just had to change. And for those who need face-to-face, we've got platforms where we can do that. But I found that people just need to know you're there. Sometimes it's just a text out of nowhere that says, I'm being thought of. And I think that sometimes when we are touching each other, when we've been face to face, we've not been as conscious of people's needs as we are, because we wait till we see them. But now that we know that we cannot see them, we have to allow God to put them on our hearts, to God to put them in our minds, and to reach out. And sometimes, and it's been invariable, that will be just that moment that person is in the greatest of need. So that hug of care, that hug of reach out, that hug of a text, a heart, a hug that comes through a phone or through a computer has made the difference for so many people. It is a pivot. It's a pivot virtual. I mean, it's to this whole virtual world, not only in pastoral care, but just in how we connect with one another. Getting my elderly to decide that Zoom was okay. That they had gotten used to free conference call, and then all of a sudden free conference call got difficult because everyone was on it. And so trying to get them to make the switch to Zoom, and then I've got more older people who bought smartphones during this season and who are now becoming Facebook aficionados. And so it's just, in the midst of the struggle, the pivot has been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we will, continue to be 21st century, because if not, there are going to be some churches who die on the other side of this because they were unable to stay connected during this.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to stay connected, stay connected.
Yeah. And many churches, some of them have reopened, in times where the numbers are literally going up, which I think at some point earlier on, someone did predict that it would be kind of a second wave. And it appears that we're experiencing that to some degree. How is that second wave informing your picture for long term in this pivot? Do you expect that some of these things that you pivoted to will be the mainstay now?
Yeah, I am part of the Interfaith Ministries of Harris County, and so we get a briefing with the medical community every week on where things are going, how they're trending. We're not going back in. What I see is absolutely alarming. And we don't really know as a Black church how to really always follow directions. So we, traditionally it's like we just want to go hug each other. We just want to be in each other's presence. And if we were a little different and we could just walk in, go sit down and walk right back out, we might be able to do this, but that's not who we are. So we can't in all, good faith go back in at this time. And so we've learned that we've got to watch the numbers, and we're not afraid. It's just wisdom. And some people say, well, God is able. God is able, but God also gives us a mind. And if we have the mind of Christ, then we're taking care of people, not opening them up to danger. So we've just kind of made the decision to wait and see how the trend goes, and to keep being virtual. And when we start going back in, it will not be all at once. We will do it in reservations in small quantities and keep the virtual going. And even when we're back full, virtual will remain, because there are some people who are not going to come back. They're not going to re-enter that space where they're with people because they're leery, and they have a right to that. And so this is the pivot that will now be the norm.
Mm-hmm. And I asked all of the guests who come on Passion Fridays this question: what are the things or people that fill you up? What are your passions?
Oh, music always. If I had to look at maybe the top three things that matter the most to me, other than my faith in God, which is a given, it would be the power of music to change my mood. Mm-hmm. The power of water like the ocean,
Gotcha.
lakes, to bring me tranquility. And then my hope for, that, we talked the other night, I'm a hopeful romantic. So I believe in the power of love and of relationship, and that people need someone in their lives to kind of not to make them, not to complete them, because if you come incomplete, you're still incomplete, but to share with and to kind of make that journey a little bit more happy. I guess that word, we don't use that word a lot because happiness is fleeting and it's an emotion, but I think we need some of that in our lives. And a lot of us who don't have it have learned how to live without it. And I think we have to be very careful that we don't do a job on our hearts by keeping them so stoic that we don't leave that little place of giddiness, of joy that comes from knowing that there's someone whom we connect with. And so, it's not an easy thing to always happen, but I think that those things are important. It is important. Music is important. My faith in God is most important. My faith journey, my love for music, the tranquility of water, and the hope that love comes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so before we let you go, and I appreciate your coming and spending so much of your hour with us from Houston, Texas. Tomorrow, tell us one more time the virtual
6,
event where we
6
can go to see
p.m.
it. Go ahead.
6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Central Time. So that's 7 for those of you on the East Coast. 6, it'll be about an hour and a half. So by 8:30, you're free to go do, and we're not going to keep you all night long. But we do want you to come and to share. And if you want to hear me, you got to stay to the end. So we just hope that you will share, and then you will share with others. After you have watched it, it will be on Facebook and will be available to keep sharing and keep sharing. And all of our Cash App and our church online giving is on the flyer, will be in the presentation. And so I'm not going to spend time with that right now. Just come first, pray with us first. And if you feel compelled to share with us, please do so, because we appreciate that.
And we can see it from your page, from the church's page. Where can we go to see
page? Miles Chapel Live Houston. Miles Chapel Live Houston. Thank you so much. Miles Chapel Live Houston is our Facebook.
Wonderful.
All right.
We are
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be tuning in tomorrow, which sounds like it's going to be a great event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we hope that you will join Valencia Etner tomorrow with Miles Chapel CME Church in Houston, Texas. Join them tomorrow for a great inspirational evening. Everyone needs inspiration to refuel and fuel your passion. I just want to double back, as we talked at the top of the hour. I want to remind you that you can reach out to Sydney Davis on the LinkedIn community or at Tequity Apps, T-Equity Apps. If you have an app idea and you want to get it out of your mind, get it into production, Sydney is the person you want to do that. Stay tuned for more about Gratitude Stations, which is one of my app ideas that's literally before my eyes coming to life. It's been a 2-year journey as it relates to this specific app. And what I can tell you is that I'm very excited for the opportunity for businesses to drive business goals and get business results through the power of gratitude. If you'd like more information, go to hrpassionllc.com, fill in the contact form there, or inbox me, Marcus R. Holmes, or HR Passion LLC on LinkedIn. Love and stuff on the Facebook community if you're interested to learn more about Gratitude Stations in any of those places. And we'll be happy to provide you a bit more information. It is a business-to-business app, but it will impact gratitude phenomenally around the world. I'm Marcus Holmes. This has been a great episode of Passion Fridays. Tune in every Friday at 12 p.m., 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, as we continue to bring you topics that we're passionate about, bring you passionate people, and bring you items where passion and people intersect. Have a great day.